Now, the Coalition will unveil its final election costings today, less than 4 days out from the election. Economic management has been a key part of both major parties' campaigns. Matthew Doran joins us now from Parliament House in Canberra. Matthew, good morning. So, any idea what we can expect today?
Well, the Treasurer, Scott Morrison, is keeping fairly tight-lipped on what we will see in these budget costings, other than to say that there will be a slight improvement on the budget bottom line under the Coalition. Now, these are costings. It's a part of the election process, part of the campaign process, that both parties do release detailed figures as to how they will be paying for their promises and the like. And of course, on Sunday afternoon, we saw Labor release its costings, showing that under a potential shortened government, there would be worse deficits to the tune of around $16 billion over the next 4 years before the Labor would bring the budget back into surplus at the same time as the Coalition. Now, unsurprisingly, Scott Morrison and Malcolm Turnbull have strongly criticised those figures from Labor, saying that they are clearly showing that a shortened government does not have a strong plan for the nation's economy. And today we will see the final details of how the Coalition puts forward their plans. Earlier this morning, the Treasurer, Scott Morrison, was on Radio National Breakfast with Fran Kelly, where, as I mentioned, he was keeping fairly tight-lipped about what we can expect.
I can confirm is that it'll be an improvement on the budget position which I outlined on May 3.
So you're spending more, but you're going to improve the budget position?
That's right.
So does that mean there's more spending cuts coming?
We'll make those announcements
Savings
later today, Fran.
But that's got to be the takeout from that.
Well, Fran, what I've said is we'll be improving the budget position, and it's important we do, because we always, Fran, pay for what we do by ensuring we make the savings that are necessary to do that, and that'll be all very clear by the end of today.
And we'll have that announcement covered here later today on ABC News 24. And so, Matthew, it's the final stretch of the election campaign, with the election day only about 4 days away now, I think. So both leaders hitting the hustings in key marginal seats today. How are they faring there?
Yeah, we're crossing off the days off the calendar here in the Parliament House Bureau. Malcolm Turnbull is campaigning in Brisbane today. He'll be at a forum in the seat of Petrie. Petrie and Brisbane are the two marginal seats that he's targeting today. Both are marginal Coalition-held seats. Now, from what we understand, the Coalition is a little bit more comfortable with its chances in Brisbane, that in a city seat, rather than Petrie, which is towards the north of Brisbane. Petrie is one of the most marginal seats in the country, and one of the key targets for Labor in this campaign. Bill Shorten is campaigning for the first time in what's traditionally been a bellwether seat, the seat of Eden-Monaro, just over the border into New South Wales from here in Canberra. He's down at a solar farm at a place called Royalla this morning, where he'll be campaigning there, as I mentioned, for the very first time. There is some discussion that Eden-Monaro could lose its bellwether status, because there is a lot of discussion that it is one of the marginal seats that Labor will pick up on Saturday, but the Coalition likely to have enough momentum to hold on to government. And of course, Bill Shorten will be making his National Press Club address, his sort of final keynote address before the election later today as well.
And Matthew, in this election, one of the really interesting seats has been New England in New South Wales, which is held by the Deputy Prime Minister Barnaby Joyce, and he's up against Tony Windsor. What's the latest there, and what have you heard about polling indications in that seat on how tight that's going to be?
Well, it will be a very tight contest, and you only need to look at how much time Barnaby Joyce has been spending in that seat to see that he is taking the fight very seriously. Of course, Tony Windsor didn't contest the last election. He retired from politics, so there is some discussion about what his fortunes would be there, because he's never had to face the voters in that traditionally conservative electorate after he delivered the Labor government power after the 2010 hung parliament. So a very close battle there, and some of the polls are showing that Barnaby Joyce could be just ahead on a two-party preferred basis. The thing that's bringing it back into the campaign spotlight today is an article that has been published in the Australian newspaper newspaper. They've contacted a number of Mr Windsor's former schoolmates who have made some quite serious allegations of bullying from when he was at school. In one instance, there is an allegation that he whipped a fellow schoolboy with a riding crop. Now, Tony Windsor has come out very strongly against this story this morning. He has described it as gutter journalism and says that it needs to be seen in the context of this very tight campaign in New England. He says he's referred the article to his lawyers and wouldn't be making any further comment on those specific allegations. There's also a new advertising campaign in New England being run by the Nationals, in which Mr Windsor has also taken offence to. He says it alleges that he has engaged in some infidelity, but the Nationals are saying that it's clearly a tongue-in-cheek campaign and is merely a way of showing or highlighting his history in delivering Labor government.
Okay, Matthew Doran reporting there from Canberra.